So on this bright Tuesday, she ups, grabs her little cap, and steps over to tell the old man what's on her little mind. You can guess what she's saying, especially when she points to the one lonesome stripe on her arm. When he says the table of organization won't allow it, she once again says, "I quit." Now again, this is a highly imaginary scene which has never happened because of the disaster which might follow. You see, her exit doesn't stop the progress of war, nor does it stop the clattering teletype machine. So what's the damage this time? It might be anything. 3 messages marked urgent are decoded a few minutes late, and information vital to a coming operation arrives also a little too late. Something may go wrong on this operation. Has she committed an offense? Figure it out for yourself. The results of leaving a post, any post in the Army, may mean a lost battle, and translated into terms of life and death may add up to a loss of a lot of good men. That's how to figure out military laws. They're only based on past experience. And now, here's the last imaginary man in our story. It's Tom, the mechanic. Remember him? Only now he's finishing basic and is well on his way to making a good soldier. But what's this? It's another stream loaded with fish. Shucks. A few hours here isn't going to change the course of the war. The next morning, Tom's had enough of rustic beauty, so he reports back to his company, only he's slightly AWOL, 1 day of it. Has he committed an offense? Yes, he has. Here's why. Because while he was gone, remember this is a training camp, he should have pulled guard duty. Or maybe he had KP coming up. Or what's more important, maybe he missed 1 day of valuable training. Men can't be trained one at a time. That's one reason why rules like the AWOL law came into being. For you see, whether in training or in combat, Army law is always based on common sense. And since wrongful acts in combat can have the most disastrous consequences, the penalties for them are greater. Military punishment fits the crime. Military law is always fair. It is fair because the Congress made it that way. Our civilian representatives framed the laws of our Army to help keep it strong in fighting trim wherever it may be. The Uniform Code of Military Justice does this by establishing a uniform high standard of conduct. The courts-martial of the Army, the summary, the special, and the general are as old as the Army itself. Every court-martial is convened for one single function, to hear witnesses and to weigh evidence, which establishes the facts, which ultimately determines whether or not an offense has been committed. If so, to adjudge a proper punishment. A careful examination of all the facts before trial in the most serious cases and always after the trial assures the same interpretation of the code for all. The rights of every accused are protected by legal safeguards. The Army's court-martial system is constantly developing to achieve its high goal of dispensing justice. The Army wants its men to have good records. Laws are guides to that end. They can help a man to his good conduct medal, to a record of distinction. When a soldier leaves the Army with a clean record, it will follow him when he returns to civilian life. His family and community are proud of a job well done. The Army joins in this commendation, for an honorable discharge means a man has served his country loyally and faithfully. It is an assurance that his respect for law, learned in uniform, will help make him a useful citizen of our great nation.
Yes, the Uniform Code of Military Justice provides greater safeguards and privileges for our citizens in uniform than any other judicial system in the United States. Now, this is Sergeant Stuart Queen, inviting you to be with us again next week for another look at the big picture.
The Big Picture is a weekly television report to the nation on the activities of the Army at home and overseas. Produced by the Army Pictorial Center, presented by the United States Army in cooperation with this station. You too can be an important part of the big picture. You can proudly serve with the best equipped, the best trained, the best fighting team in the world today, the United States Army.